Unfortunate. All right, it's 4:32, and we'll call the meeting to order. First on the docket is to amend and approve the minutes from July 6th meeting. So we got a chance to look at those.
I did.
Motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 6th meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? Any corrections or
I
anything?
have none.
Is there anything there, Bob? I'm Bill.
Thanks.
You're Bob.
That's
You're
okay.
Bill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We got folders now, so keep things track.
Oh.
Update on the action items. And again, this is the second time around, I believe, with the action items. And did you have any luck on the repossessing of property issue?
We went through, I went back and talked with Jeanette,
Mm-hmm.
and she said it's probably easier for us to just face it and say, take the property in July,
Okay.
rather than go through the other process. She said otherwise then I've got to go back and do another process. So it is possible to do it, but you have to have meetings with various committees and go through it, and then you can say, give it to me. But she said, I'm way further along than trying to do that.
Okay. Any concerns with that? Or?
No.
Okay. Review of office policy and submit comments and changes prior to the meeting so the policy can be finalized and approved, and that's been done. Looking into the zoning ordinance 12.6 and 12.7 for the wildcat erosion. Do you have any? What was on your docket there?
Actually, it's on all three of yours.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm picking on him then.
Oh, okay.
No,
I didn't have any time, unfortunately, to look into that. So.
Well, I looked into it. I mean, it's
Well, they gotta-
it's all about how you interpret it.
Right.
And I think that Ken Kimball's position was that it doesn't really refer in the zoning ordinance to new construction, but that seems to be what everything is aimed at. So how do we interpret that when it comes to erosion control for a river? And so I think Ken's position was that these zoning ordinances aren't really geared towards that. So they're hoping not to have to go through that step. So I don't know if we can really put this off to a later date, or I know they want to get some work done this year. So maybe if we all, there's not much there to bone up on. And I don't know if we need to run this by the LGC. I think for us to come to some sort of a conclusion about whether or not these zoning ordinances apply to their efforts to control what's going on over there as far as river erosion,
By the way.
we might need some outside input. I don't know, how do you guys feel about that? Do we have the ability to kind of interpret that on our own, or should we get somebody else's opinion?
I'd like an opinion
Yeah.
before I make a decision about that.
Yeah. So,
Who is it the LGC who?
they're the easiest place to start. And so often you go to an organization like that, even if we go to our town attorney on our dime, they're going to say, well, it's not going to be a real, it's not going to be unambiguous. It's going to be gray, but you kind of have to go through those motions. I'd love to hear what their advice is for this and how it applies.
So is it just further understanding those ordinances?
Yeah, and how they would apply to, we've got a scenic river that's threatening to recourse itself.
Okay, I can contact them.
And it would have major impact on a golf course in town and our cross-country skiing operation, and depending on who you talk to, those things are a big part of our town's identity. So here are the ordinances. Do these really apply to something like that?
Okay.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be.
Does
I
DES
think,
have to get involved in that, or, because we had to apply through them to get this, to get any work done, right?
to get the wild and
They
scenic?
already are involved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're the ones that are gonna do the work.
Right.
They just would love to avoid this extra step. Because we would end up denying their request, and then it would go to the ZBA, and all that stuff would happen, and so,
I guess maybe, might be a good idea to check out with LGC and see
yeah.
what they
I would do
say.
that.
Alrighty.
Andy, do you have anything you wanna,
Yeah,
you weren't here last meeting when we
I
went
was
over.
not.
Do you know what we're talking about?
I don't.
You're a lucky man, you're a lucky man.
I'm blissfully ignorant.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, there's a couple of zoning ordinances about, that could or could not necessarily apply to efforts to kind of restore the
Golf
course
course.
of the Wildcat River right up there at the Eagle, where it's kind of threatening to bypass the bridge. Threatening to bypass the bridge.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And cut up.
DES has been contacted, have they weighed in on this?
The players are Jackson Cross Country and the Eagle Mountain House, and they're taking the steps with DES. And they came here to specifically, and clarify me if I got this wrong from last meeting, but to look for guidance from us on a town level on how we would interpret 12.5 and 12.6.
12.6 and 12.7.
Or 12.6 and 7, sorry. And how we would handle riverine situations that are threatening to alter. So, anything you got to add to that at some point down the road, I'm sure we'd love to hear your opinions.
Anything else on that? All right, down to Julie's list here. Did thank you to the power company for the work on the storm on 6/2. And got that done, thank you. Ryan Shaw's got a copy of Burr's recommendations for the property, and e-news, emails of concern, and emails to join a committee for the knotweed. And that's been done, and the committee has been formed and has already had a meeting, right? And the
That's
second
right.
one was Thursday at 11, is that what the?
This next Thursday.
Next Thursday, I think I can make that one.
Yeah.
11 a.m. next
11 a.m.
Thursday, and I assume that's here.
We're gonna start here, we may go on tour.
Tour?
And I don't think it's a situation where two selectmen have to avoid it because we'd be doing business. So if you can make it, Bill, I think that'd be great. But we're bringing up a state expert
You're gonna
on
start here in this office?
invasive plant removal.
11
Yeah,
a.m.?
11 a.m. We'll start
Thursday.
here. Everybody on the committee's invited. I just spoke to Jay before I came to the meeting. He understood a couple days ago that it was something he would want to attend. And he actually suggested that it might be a good idea to have the whole road crew attend, and I said, that's great. So we're gonna have to rent a bus to go tour around, but it should be very informative.
27th,
And I kind of
Yes.
agree with Ken, unfortunately, that you may have to go to some kind of professional level to have that harvested. I think that's probably going to be the way to go in terms of trying to control that stuff.
Well, I think everybody on the committee has stepped up and supported the concept that the facts are going to drive the recommendations that are made, not personal agendas or political agendas or anything like that. So I'm real hopeful that you're going to know a lot more after Thursday, believe me.
Well, I've been looking into it. It's been quite informative.
Yeah, and a lot of people who have, a number of people on that committee who have been involved since day one have much different opinions today than they did last time you talked to them.
Any others on that? Okay. E-news, new office hours have been posted and started this week. Legal expenses breakdown for 2008. We need to go that far?
You said from 2000.
Oh, from 2008, okay. I'm still working on that, take a few more weeks. Letter from Fritz from the Selectmen in support of the library septic, and that's been done. Letter from the Selectmen and Conservation Committee to DES in support of the Wildcat erosion fix, and that's been done. Signed changed check signers from 3 to 2, and bank and Warren, and that's been done. Set up online payroll transfers, the bank has been notified, and we just need instruction from the bank how to do it, so that'll keep moving along pretty quickly, I assume. Funds for the transfer, new grader, I think I saw the new grader, was that in
Yeah.
town? I thought I
Yeah.
saw Jay on top of that.
And we should have the check on Monday.
Excellent.
But we haven't gotten the bill yet.
And the cat service guy's already been out to look at it, and everybody's feeling really, everybody, Jay, the road crew, I know Bill Wogish was up there looking at it, feeling really positive about the choice we made.
Yeah, it looked great when it drove by me.
Yeah.
You
were going that slow.
I was going that slow, it was opposite direction.
Okay.
Contact Bartlett and see when they will pay us for outstanding balance. After researching correspondence and minutes, I was told a check was being mailed. Okay. Contact Sarah Duffy. I have 2 quotes for Mirror Lake.
Well, that was a previous one. I contacted her again, and she's still trying to get the quotes. She has
Okay.
not done it.
Again,
So she's going to provide us with the quotes, and then we'll be able to move forward. And did the check come that was mailed?
No, not yet.
Check from Bartlett still in the
It's
mail?
in the mail.
it's in the mail.
Okay.
And we're talking about the sound system for Memorial Day, and maybe something we might want to think. I know Mary was mentioned it's hard for some people to hear in the audience, and something we could rig up here too as another sound system at some point. When updating master plan, which is coming soon, remember the ZBA uses this when making decisions as their guiding document. Thank you for doing this, by the way. I think this is huge to keep me on track. I don't know about the rest of the board, but I find it very helpful. Public comments. Anybody have any? George, how are you?
Hey, good. A couple, regarding the Wildcat,
River?
regarding the Wildcat River,
Sure.
after it was enacted in 89.
88, 89.
Wild and Scenic,
Mhm.
there was for 10 years a local commission with the effort to develop an agreement between the town and the federal, I believe it comes under the Forest Service, I'm not sure, the administration of the Wild and Scenic Program.
Mhm.
I don't know if that came to conclusion or not. I was on it for about 5 years, and it kind of got muddled at the end, and at the end of the 10 years. But as it was ongoing, there was a question again up at the golf course of where, I think it's probably the same bridge, there was a sandbar and all that, and there was a lot of interest, and it resolved back to the administration of the Wild and Scenic Program as the guys that had the hammer. So the LGC and all of those may be able to be players for you, but again, I'm not sure if it's the Forest Service or the Park Service that is the administrator of the Wild and Scenic Program, the Wild and Scenic Rivers Program. So it may be worthwhile to take a look at that as kind of the ones that can approve or disapprove what they would do. And to say, in that time frame, moving a sandbar became a major discussion point.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks, George.
secondly, I was interested in how we're doing on implementing our new code ordinance.
Well, right now, that was on my agenda today, was getting a work session together to do that job description. We would just finish the office, and I think we got all the other ones done, or we're still missing 1 or 2.
A couple in town garage.
Yeah, a couple in the garage, but
And then
yeah,
we'll wrap
that was definitely one thing I had
Because there were a number of things that the selectmen had to do as far as the criteria, the job description, and the selection process,
Mhm.
the accountability of funds, if we have a separate fund set up and so forth. Because those were kind of sticky points as the whole thing was being developed, as you well know.
Yeah.
The
Can I
other,
check back with you, or can I?
Well, I think I was hoping today, actually, I was going to put it on new business for myself at least, was to, set up a time to do a work session to get that job description started.
Because that, the selection process follows the description, as I recall.
yeah, and the other thing that really should dovetail with that job description process is to come to an understanding on just exactly what our building permit application is going to look like. I mean, we made some real minor fixes to it maybe 6-8 months ago, with the understanding that we really needed to take a good look at what some other towns were doing that seemed to be well, we're certainly going to be alternatives to where we were, and so so it's kind of this comprehensive thing, and so it was on the back burner until we got some of these other things off our plate that we have off our plate now, and I think we're going to make some major progress on that, through the summer. I think initially people were thinking after the town meeting that there was going to be something in place come mid-April or May 1st, and that was never really our intent. We'd rather do it right and be thoughtful about things and understand what our options are rather than just to forge through. But I think we're going to see something real comprehensive.
And I think one of the things that concerned me in the past was the establishment of procedures other than just verbal kind of procedures.
That's right. Yeah.
And, there's a whole smattering of items under that, so we're not guessing of what works and what doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all.
Thank you. Anybody else with public comments? Not hearing any, we'll move on to the police report. Does a lot of money come back to us? No. Yeah. Let's see, read it. Health issues. Hi. How are you?
Okay. Okay. We assisted a gentleman with a verification on his boat. We received a complaint about another gentleman who was fishing on the Code Bridge, having trouble getting up the embankment. I didn't know if there were medical issues there, so I went and checked on him. 3 911 hang-up calls from a overnight establishment. There was children playing with the phone. We had a house burglary. We had a trespassing complaint, and we've spoken with one of the 2 parties that were coming on the property, and still need to talk to another one. We had one completed for 5 for false burglary alarms. Assisted the Barnett Jackson ambulance with a subject who fell at the tennis club and hip injury. Reckless driving complaint coming north on 16. 7 to 10 line, but they either went west up there too. The animal control officer has been attempting to remind people about it's kind of past time, I think, to license for the animals, dogs. We had a trial, then to support. Assisted the Barnett Jackson ambulance with a 97-year-old man who fell and could not get up. We're starting to get numerous complaints for bears being dumpsters.
Just had one in my house today.
Did you? Yeah. There was an inn that left butter out, tub of butter out, and just a screen door, and the bear went in and helped himself.
Sure.
So, this is the fire company with a fire alarm. We got a call for a car that had been parked for several days on Main Street, and looking at the rear windows, rear passenger windows smashed in. The car is expired last January, so we had that car removed. Motor vehicle accident up by Main Street in 16 by the gas station. Another accident down at the Blake House where 2 vehicles near flipped each other. Accident with a moose. Somebody called in about a sinkhole, small sinkhole that appeared to be going bigger on Tin Mine Road that was referred to the highway department. And an hour and a half ago, it was just a Gorham Police Department that was chasing a stolen vehicle. There's a facility up in Jefferson for juveniles. There's a runaway from there, stolen car. Driving down the notch, just forcing cars off on the opposite side of the road, passing cars, double yellow. So they came through and we assisted with them. Down into Bartlett, of course, blew through the red light and T-boned the Bartlett cruiser. So,
Really?
yeah.
Maybe get hurt?
The driver was passed out, at least anyway. I'm sure the Bartlett officer probably got a good jolt. But thankfully, we have video cameras of the cruiser. And from the time that we joined in, the car had bounced off a guardrail over the notch. At the time of the accident, it's all tape. There's no question of what happened or anything. So, again, the value of the video cameras in the cruisers is just, they're worth their weight in gold.
Great example.
So,
Tell me, if you can, what's this break-in business?
well, there was a second home, so it was an easy target, and it was up towards as you're out of the village, and it's the only one that we received. So
I've just never heard of it for a while. Is this?
yeah, no,
Usually kids get involved in that.
yeah, no, we haven't had any. We've been very fortunate. We haven't had any.
Break-in meant nothing taken, or you don't know?
Yeah,
or-
there were items taken. Yeah. items taken.
Where did this happen?
Adam Road. Adams Road.
Where?
Adam Road. Off of Eagle Mountain Road.
When did it happen?
Happened about 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
All set?
thank you.
So, okay,
Thanks, Chief.
Andy, you're on deck. Building matters.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, gentlemen.
John, is it this shade that's, or?
No, it's that thing up there.
Oh.
Don't worry, I'm fine, thanks.
So we've got a few permits that I've acted on since your last meeting. They're all pretty straightforward. We had window replacement and some siding indoors. And we had new roof. We have a new single-family manufactured home going in that's to replace a fire-damaged structure. And then you guys will recognize the next one, which is on Francis Ave. This is the one that we initially denied because the second floor addition that they had planned was entirely in the setback. They went to get a variance, but before they went to get a variance, I suggested they just flip the addition and took the addition out of the setback. But they really had their heart set on it being on the other side. They were denied their variance, so they were able to live with flipping it. Now we're all set and issued that permit.
Which one was that?
That would be Terry, 400 Francis Ave.
Oh,
It recently changed hands at the end of the road. It was, I think I brought pictures of the low green structure.
Yeah.
So by flipping the second story addition, it now takes it out of the setback, that front setback. So, and then the last one is for remodeling project. And then to give you an update, I talked about, we've been working on trying to come up with, ISO had suggested, keeping files electronically. Ella's been working with Avatar, so they have a module so that all of the inspection reports, every time I go out to the site, actually will be recorded with Avatar. So when the ladies at Town Hall look up, a map and lot number, they can see what, not only can we see that we've issued permits, but we can see what's been inspected and when. So I think that's a step in the right direction.
And, in general, has the process been going pretty smoothly from years past?
Yeah, I think we're, you know, it's, you know, it seems to take some of the angst out of the, you know, well, I need the permit now. I mean, everybody's busy and, you know, contractors are no different than anybody else. And when, you know, when they need a permit, you know, they need one. So it seems to be a smoother process, so they don't have to wait for 2 weeks for that approval process. So that seems to be working pretty well. Everybody now that, you know, it seems as though everybody understands the building permitting process. I'm getting far fewer calls about what needs a permit, you know, so when that's really kind of nice. And I think town staff is seeing fewer calls about that as well, because usually those get forwarded to me. And, I think we've got a pretty good system worked out now, so yeah, I think it's working well.
You said all the documentation for all the permits are on the Avatar program now, so?
Yeah, so what Ella is, she set me up with a password, and eventually we're gonna have the computer in the back room set up. But I have to get server access to be able to fill out reports remotely. And so the idea is in place now. I can utilize it if I'm sitting at Ella's desk, but now we want to either get, ideally it would be set
Remote
up
access.
remotely, so that just like Jason has, you know, he can get in and make his notes and amendments, you know, off-site. So that'll work out really well because, you know, there's, you know, it eliminates reporting and it's all in one place. So I think it's, and the systems, you guys are already using the system. So I think it's a smart thing to implement. And my fellow inspectors, I'm friendly with some local towns, and Wolfboro is now doing the same thing, and they're utilizing the same system. So, and it's working pretty well for them. You know, it's kind of a bare bones thing, but it seems to work. It's very exciting.
You can tell.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I know we'd had some discussion, I know Bob and I had discussed, and I don't know if you guys want to talk about the accessory apartment now, but there was some discussion about a recent approval of an accessory apartment. And I just wanted to let everybody know the process, ever since I've been involved with the town, that process has never changed. We look at septic capacity of the septic system, and either the system is adequate to support what they're proposing, which for the state means that it's received approval within the last 20 years, or it's not adequate, and at that point, we, you know, if the applicant decides that they want to move forward, we look at how can we best accommodate that, and the only way to gain septic capacity is to give up something. So in this particular case, the applicant to make the bedroom in the garage, and we have to, when we're thinking about accessory apartments, we also have to think about kitchens. So we have a bedroom and a kitchen, which makes a dwelling unit. So in this particular case, the applicant had to give up 2 bedrooms in the house to make the septic capacity work. And we documented all of that. The applicant agreed to that, and it's now, you know, instead of, you know, now when you go onto that tax card for that property, it shows a single bedroom home
With an accessory.
with an accessory, a 1-bedroom accessory apartment. So, and of course, it has to comply with the other ordinances of, you know, under 1,000 square feet, and, you know, so that's, you know, I know we had some discussion about that afterwards, and I think that it would be a good idea to discuss it in open forum again, so that everybody kind of has the idea that nothing's changed, and we're, you know, nobody's getting any special treatment. It's the same for everybody. So.
Yeah, and I think that was a concern, and I think that's the great thing about being able to have the discussion in the selectmen's meetings, and Andy and I talked about this, and there was concern expressed about the accessory apartment being granted, and how did that happen without a septic upgrade? Well, it happened without a septic upgrade, as it was just explained, that the owner agreed to take 2 bedrooms out of use. Well, what does that mean? Is that on the honor system or whatever? Well, the tax card's adjusted, and so I guess the home value's adjusted because of it. And so there was a determination made that because it's under 1,000 square feet and it's meeting those requirements, and the septic has basically been approved within that 20-year time span. There's 2 ways you can do it. You can either upgrade your septic capacity or take some capacity out of use. And so that's how Andy worked with the homeowner, and I think the whole issue of favoritism is one that I was pleased to have addressed during a meeting, so that it's a matter of record that anybody who wants to take these same steps could end up with the same outcome.
Sure. And, I can only think of one accessory apartment that in the 5 years that I've been involved, that we had a denial on, and it was actually overridden, and that apartment is in use today. But it was a septic issue. So, so that's, I try to look at everybody the same way.
So how do you determine, like, that somebody has to give up 2 bedrooms to do something like that? Is there a formula, or is that something on the state books?
I actually talked to Burr about it, because he's a great resource for all things septic. And he and I discussed it, and given the capacity of it's each system is a little different. So it's given the capacity of the system, how can we make this work? Given an extra bedroom and the load of a kitchen, which essentially amounts to another bedroom. So, and that was, I think it was, the owner seems to be very happy, and it gives his son a place to live while he's paying off his college debt. So I think it's probably a pretty good win for the community too. So kid's gone to college and now is back local again. So good thing.
Any other?
No, that's it.
Very good.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Item number 6 is the White Mountain Oil contract, and the fuel for the.
We've seen all the other bids and we agreed with them.
Right. Yeah, that's all right. Something else did, or?
I'll come back.
Not this time.
Not this time. Yeah, so we decided that last meeting that we were going to go with White Mountain Oil after the bids came out. And so I guess we need a motion to allow me to sign for the board here.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 19th, right?
Yeah.
20th.
No, 20th.
20th. Item number 7 is timber tax.
Ella wanted me to make sure that there are 2 pages that need to be signed.
Right, yeah, we always seem to have missed that. Operation 12-231-13, Adams Saint Realty Trust. Timber tax, Libby. Take a motion to approve of the tax.
So moved.
Timber tax.
Operation 12-231-13.
Correct.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The second spot this time. All those in favor, I guess, did I say that?
Yeah.
Your signature? Hey, how you doing? Entertainment approval letter for the inn at Thornhill.
There is backup amendment. Last time you guys signed a liquor
Right.
license. Now this.
Is the outdoor one?
I'm sorry.
Outdoor?
This is for entertainment.
Oh, entertainment.
Yeah, I guess if you look at the back letter, it says that the state requires 1 for each.
Okay. Town of Jackson, New Hampshire acknowledges Gunther and Heidi Zoomler, and their business entities, the Luxury Inn Collection LLC, as a new owner, as well as Thornhill Management Company Incorporated as new operating company. The town has no issue with the inn at Thornhill and wishes to give our permission for the business to provide entertainment on their premise at 40 Thornhill Road. Take a motion to sign that letter.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, we need to sign that one, please. Thank you. Next, liquor license approval for Red Fox Bar and Grill. Town of Jackson, New Hampshire gives permission to the Red Fox Bar and Grill to serve alcohol outside of their license area at the Wentworth Hall Golf Club for the 33rd Annual Memorial Hospital Open, to be held Thursday, July 18, 2013. This function will be held in a temporary tent set up for this purpose only. Take a motion to sign that letter.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, item number 10. What's that with that one?
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. We have a revised letter to the trustees of the trust fund for the grader.
And I feel like you guys signed this earlier, but I don't think you signed it, but I couldn't find the original, so I just.
Hope I didn't scoff it on you. All right, so we did sign this already and approve this one already.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Signing our life away today. Item number 11 is a letter to Fritz Koppel regarding the old library easement.
And he would ask me to contact Fritz's lawyer, David Hastings. I did so. He had not seen any of the paperwork, so he was saying $500 was his estimate to draft and record the easement. In the letter, I used up to $1,000. That way, if it comes in at $550, I don't have to come back.
That's right. There you go.
Since you're not seeing any of the design work or anything like that, that's what I used in the letter. The other thing I wanted to update you on is, after the last meeting, I did meet with Protestant Chapel Association at the Jackson Community Church on Monday, June 10th, and reviewed the plan with them. And I received a letter dated June 12th, following our meeting on Monday, June 10th, 2013. The Board of Directors of the Protestant Chapel Association voted unanimously to give their approval to the septic system plan as presented by you and your committee.
Great.
So we are pleased we're able to figure it out whereby the pavement around the church will not be disturbed. So, we got the church on board. So, moving along, I think the next step will be actually get the easement drafted and recorded. State final approval on the plan, and then we'll start getting bids and estimates and getting the work done. I don't envision it being done this summer.
No.
So we will definitely be back in front of you in November with the estimates to talk about appropriate warrant articles for the next town meeting. The other item I wanted to mention, I think the last time we talked about the possibility of the water coming across the street as Fritz was doing work. Burr Phillips is really helpful and called the contractor Fritz is using, and the technology they're using or the method they're using is not what Burr would recommend. I think that's how I put it. It's not directional. They hit a rock, it can veer off, etc. There's a concern that where the fire hydrant is so close to the river, there's going to be rocks. And Burr is actually suggesting to use a different company and methodology to try and burn under the road. So at this point, I'm seeing a rush on that issue. It looks like that will not be an opportunity to save money for Bill. So it's kind of done. I just want to make sure you're aware of it. If you have any more detailed questions, please ask Burr Phillips. It's behind me. And And that's everything. If anything ever comes up, please feel free to contact any of the members of the committee.
I congratulate you for amazing work.
Yeah.
That's amazing work.
It's not done yet.
Yeah.
I know.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Take a motion to sign the letter for the easement.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Like a herd of turtles, we're at the tax collector's warrant, item number 12. I think we signed this, we just need Bill to sign it, right?
Yeah, but we didn't have a motion on it because it was something that she needed immediately.
Okay. So I guess we need a motion for the tax collector's warrant property tax levy.
Motion to sign the
Yeah.
tax
Yeah, it's
collector's warrant.
Right, and this is for $2,061,219, 12% interest. If all sums are not paid before that day.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're the only one needs to sign that one.
Yeah.
All right, now first manifest.
Well, those are actually three of we're doing a little bit of catch-up.
Thank you,
So
sir.
those are already done, but this is the process that we will be using. So, converted to the two signers, so we need to have you guys sign off on those, just to start the process.
So we have the manifest from June 3rd, 2013. And this is basically just a breakdown of all the checks and stuff for the whole, I guess, 2-week period, right? 1 week period.
Weekly.
Weekly, yeah.
Can we discuss a little bit about that real quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
About what?
About this check signing process. And I'm still nervous, okay? I know I said, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. But trying to count, in other words, just educate me a minute, but before we were sitting down, 2 people were signing the checks. And it's
Actually,
not,
3 people.
well, 3 people, okay, 2 selectmen.
Right.
Okay. Is that, where is the, in other words, everybody, first of all, everybody is honest and truthful and all that. It's not a question, anything like that.
Right.
It's a question of, it's like the Challenger. They checked everything before they ignited it. My question, I guess, is, I'm assuming that the department head sits down and looks at a budget and says, I have $800 in here and I'm only spending $400, so I'm going to put this check in. Is there any other follow through about that? I mean, how do we know? When I sign them in there, I sign them and I feel comfortable. I mean, where is the final conclusion that says that's in the budget, it's under $800, it's the right stuff, it says clothing $800, these are shoes, it fit, I mean, is this something we assume? I mean, I don't want 15 people checking checkers, okay? But is there any way that, I mean, where is the comfort level that works? Is there, do we need a comfort level, I guess? I mean, obviously you're here and I do, but I don't want to make any issue that drags around. I'm just questioning how we really know. And, somebody makes a mistake and, mistakes of buying shoes, he bought 700 pair instead of 7 pair, that's reconcilable. We go back, take the shoes back, it's not a big deal. It's a mistake. If there's some other more, I guess, dense mistake,
I think right now the department heads are responsible for signing off on the invoices, which should mean that they're taking responsibility for the charges that are being made.
For example, this is Jay's handwriting here for Coleman's. Right. So
But I don't think we have anything other, at least in our office, we're taking that it's okay to pay it based on what the department head is saying.
okay.
But you have it in your QuickBooks, whether the money is there though, right?
Right, I mean, we have the budget and we have what's being entered,
It goes in by code number, and then you say, you know, there's $600 left in this budget.
Right now, Ella has been inputting the accounts payable, so I don't know if she's taking that, because there is a balance in QuickBooks. When she's doing the check, it should come up and down, so.
Okay, I'm good. Let's not waste any more time.
No, it's important.
Well, I think that the thing about the question that I like is that, okay, so you've got your manifest, the checks that were written, but it doesn't connect to the different budgets, the line items within the budgets, and is there room in this line item for this check? And if there is, then what's the new balance in that line item? And that's, as a programs manager, I deal with that all the time. And so just to say there's somebody responsible for the budget, well, what happens if that person responsible makes a mistake or something like that, and all of a sudden you've got a line item in the red, then how do you deal with that?
I don't know that we have anything set up. Maybe we should.
Yeah.
You know, for more closely monitoring the budget, as far as, you know, just taking a step beyond the department head signing off on the invoice. So.
It would be nice, I think, to kind of address Bill's points if we knew when we were taking a look at the check manifest that all of these checks had been measured up against the line items they were being drawn from, and that there's room in those budgets for all those checks. And I think that's already done at a clerical level in the office.
Right.
So if there was some sort of
Maybe a report.
written acknowledgement with,
Well, maybe we could somehow, let me look to see what report I can.
Maybe it's a
create.
monthly budget, you know, balance sheet that you can
Yeah.
produce just to kind of keep it.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to do it weekly. I think that would be too cumbersome, but.
Well, let me look into that, and I will give
Yeah.
you information.
like, I don't need to see how much is left in each line item. I don't think
Right.
that's Bill's point either. He just wants to rest assured
That it's
that if
not-
he's signing on a check,
Right. That
there's
enough
money to
coverage.
cover it in the line item.
Yep. Okay,
And-
let me
and-
look into that.
It may be something really, really simple.
Right.
An element.
Yeah, I don't want to create new graders or anything. I just question the process, and I'm fine. I'm okay.
Now, Warren must have some hand in that as well, though, right? I mean, in terms of,
Well, I think, didn't you?
I talked with Warren. Warren said he doesn't do anything
No,
but sign.
he doesn't.
He doesn't do
measure.
anything but sign.
so it would be the department head's responsibility to make sure they go over it.
Department head, and then our responsibility. So let me see what I can come up with for,
Well,
you know, just
yeah,
a little bit more information.
at least I think that everything culminates in a fiduciary responsibility. That's here. This is the fiduciary. So if we're going to be the fiduciary, then, you know, there should be some kind of comfort level that, rather than just depending
Right,
on
'cause
everybody doing
You're
it.
signing it without having any knowledge of what's in the budget.
That's
I
right.
mean,
The checks before, the way we did it before, we really had no way either.
right.
Yeah, it's
So
just
let me see what I
it's
can
just a
create.
check in the fiduciary line that says, okay, it's in the budget, and you know, we're not here to protect against criminals. Criminals do their thing. We're here looking for mistakes.
Errors,
That's all
yeah.
we're looking.
Good point.
So it's like the highway department's really got about 18 different line items. So it's a
Right.
finite amount,
Right.
number of line items. And
Right.
what's the check being drawn from? The police, they've got 11.
Right.
So it shouldn't be a real complicated process, but it would add an extra
Well, I'm sure that
set of
there's got to be
checks and
some report
balances.
that's in there that
Right.
we can use.
It-
Right,
it
probably
has to
spits
be
right
some-
out.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, just a question of which one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is that-
I'm good.
Okay, I guess I need a motion for the three manifests here, 6/3, 6/10, and 6/17 to sign.
So moved.
Second?
And any further discussion? All those in favor?
Right.
Aye.
And new business, do we have anything from anybody in new business category?
There is a folder, actually, there are a couple items you are here. Tom, okay, so
New building, yeah, here it is.
it was brought to my attention that we used to have a safety committee, which I believe we are required to have. We have re-established that.
I got it.
Tom is actually gonna go ahead and kind of be the main man of the safety committee, and we have our first meeting, when was that first meeting? It was July 10th at 2:30 in here.
July 10th at 2:30.
And we have the department heads, plus Tom, plus the gentleman from.
We have Myrna for part of the chat. I thought we chatted about it last week or as well.
Who was it again, Tom? It's the department heads and,
Police, fire, EMS, Jay will be there, I guess that's Highway, Julie, and.
Library.
library.
Police.
And I'm not sure, John,
Okay.
I'm not sure who else. Just basically set it up as a, I mean, we have to sort of, I guess, review a charge,
It's a
what we're
quarterly,
supposed to do,
quarterly meeting.
have an old business, it won't be a new business, a new business thing, and a public comment, and we'll notice it in emails,
Mhm.
post it, so if anybody from the town has any issues or anything like that, they would like to bring to our attention. We can work on it that way, and then set another meeting for the next quarter, go from there.
Very good.
You want me to do that, John? Doing that meeting?
Yeah.
It's up to you.
It'd be great to have a selectmen's representative
Yeah.
there,
Yes.
2 in the afternoon.
So it's, did you
Well,
get
it's
the date?
July,
No, I didn't get the date.
July 10th.
July 10th.
2:30.
When was the last time we had one of those?
Couldn't tell you.
It's
I
just,
tell you, ignorance is bliss.
well,
Is it gonna be in this room?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
I think it's for something we're charged to do by the state.
and there'll be a file set up with records or electronic or whatever, so we'll all be at, 10 years from now, we'll be able to say we had one July 10th,
Yes.
2013.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Did you have anything more?
Well, I did drop off the MSDSs on those two wonderful chemicals that people were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right
Those
here.
were given over to the mountain committee. Yeah.
So they have those.
Yep.
Nothing really neat, anything remarkable in there. I also printed out sample labels, those ones, which tell you how to apply them.
Well, thank you.
Meeting on July 2nd, Heidi Lawton, who's the state Homeland Security representative, that person. She's going to give us a radio. So there'll be I already have one by virtue of the ambulance, but I thought it would be good to have it around just in case.
And I think she's gonna have you guys sign off on
Yeah, she needs a letter saying that I am the emergency management director here of some sort. And it'll live over at the fire department if we need it, it's there. I thought it'd be better to have it
Hmm.
in case I fall off the planet and this person wants one. Other than that, I'm not gonna be around next week, but we have an alternate sort of health,
Mhm.
deputy health
Yep.
person in case we need. And you can always, Julie can always get me on the phone.
And that's Jay.
No, it's Andy.
It's Andy's the alternate, that's right, that's right.
That's all.
Okay,
Thanks, Elmer.
excellent.
I have in my little folder here, the dog license,
dog license. Now,
rabies, I'm sorry. Rabies shots, unlicensed dogs, which this is from Jeanette.
Yeah, and she said that in the past, nothing has been necessarily done about it, but she would like to enforce, the code on that and follow through with the notices and that, I think it says within 30 days, I don't remember exactly what it is, but she wants to get approval from you guys to pursue this so that whoever does not license their dog, the dog can be seized if they don't follow through with this, which would be the animal control officer that handles that, and then there's a fine. And that's the list of people.
I think that should be discussed before you step into the, who's gonna do it? You're gonna ask the policeman to do it?
It's apparently the animal control.
We have an animal control officer.
Well, the part about that question that might need to be addressed is that our animal control officer operates on a $500 a year stipend. So if we get into a situation where we've got a dozen dog owners out of compliance,
There's a big list.
do we
So
really
long.
have the capacity to deal with this kind of paperwork. I think there's a lot of good things about it, but I'd hate to see us getting, adopting an enforcement policy that we couldn't realistically enforce.
Well, I think she said she wants to follow the law, so I don't know if
Yep.
it's already.
And now, has she been in discussion with our animal control officer about this, or do you know?
I don't know.
It's probably not a question for you.
When I first registered my dog, I did it because they said, I heard there was a thing with the town, so I came down and the clerk said, oh, it doesn't matter whether you do that or not. We have it on the books and nobody ever enforces it, so people want to do it can do it. So there is an attitude already out here, I can tell you, that my opinion is if you said, okay, we're gonna go get all these people, I think that's a problem. I think there should be some thought. I appreciate Jeanette, the law's on the books, I understand, I think it's great. However, I would caution against starting to go in there with a backhoe. I think that's just a problem. I would look at some other way to do it. I don't have it on top of my head, but I think if you start seizing dogs, I think that's going to be a firebrand.
Where are you gonna put them?
Well, if you were asking me to vote to go do this tonight, I wouldn't do it just because I think it's complicated. It's complicated.
Be nice if people could take care of that
It
piece of
would be
business.
very nice if they take care of it, but I think it's complicated. And it's complicated either way, because you're telling Jeanette we're not going to enforce the law for it.
Mhm.
So it is complicated.
Mhm.
And somehow the responsibility may be to change the licensing that says it's a volunteer program. I mean, you're talking about I had a dog until he died, but because I'm over 30, I got a reduced price. So Jeanette said, I can't believe I went through all this trouble. I think it was $3. Said, I can't believe I went through all this trouble for $3. So the license, I don't think is much over 5 or 6.
$6.50.
And I wouldn't engage. I just wouldn't engage the USS Missouri to resolve this.
Is that something that the town can choose to not have?
Well, you're asking a real question. Here's my question: it's on the books. That's the question you have to file first. It's a law on the books, and the question is, and I think governments do these things. Governments pass these laws like we're going to have a dog licensing program in this town, without the process of saying, now what are we going to do about this? And I would give you a written guarantee, absolute written guarantee, if you send the dog catcher after all those dogs, this place is going to be full. It will be full with people with poles. It's just not a good thing to do. Not for $6.50. We'd be better off saying, we don't have a law, we're not going to license dogs. Yes, sir.
I was just going to say, I'm not sure if you're forced to as far as compliance with the state ratings.
I'm guessing.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Believe me, I understand what you're saying. There's not
I license my dog. He has all the shots,
Yes,
all that stuff.
And there's all kinds of other issues
Yeah.
about where you take it down to the thing, and the issues of now you're generating a hell of a job for a dog collector. I mean, I've been in other towns where the
Yeah.
dog officer became a full-time job.
Yeah.
Union considerations, police, blah, blah, blah.
The thing
My
that
point is there something from the state that dictates us to enforce the ratings?
that's a question I don't know, but
And my thought, I'm trying to figure this out for you guys, but is there another way to send out a notice to people? Is there some way to keep people being able to register their car unless they pay up for it?
That's what I was thinking.
There you go.
There might be
Something
other
like
teeth.
that. And I don't know where it is in your
Yeah.
enabling legislation as far as the rest of that concern is complicated, as you said. If they can't register the car, then they're gonna pay their $6.50.
yeah, I'm just saying we got to explore this
Right.
rather than go
I
after
like the
somebody
idea of
for
registration of
$6
the car.
Just-
Sure.
If you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can.
do it.
Yeah.
That's your 16-inch gun.
But the development usually of these things are you don't want rabid dogs running around, and
Because
you're
if
required
you
to
don't
have.
enforce it, then you might
Become liable.
owning something as far as liability. And
Right.
I think for being a farmer in another the state. A lot of this dog tax goes to a fund, and if any farmer loses his animals, they raid the fund. I used to do it when I had sheep. We'd go in and we'd raid the dog fund every year for animals that were destroyed. So,
I want to support Jeanette. I want to not be anti-law or against the law because Jackson has passed the law. But I just think that, going after people's dogs at this point in time, and, we got to look at doing something else somehow.
So, a couple things about the wording here on the law is that it's the local governing body shall, within 20 days from June 20, issue a warrant to a local official authorized to issue a civil forfeiture for each unlicensed dog. That means that we must issue that warrant to a local official. And the warrant may also authorize a local law enforcement officer to seize any unlicensed dog. May doesn't mean must.
Right.
May means that could actually happen. You would then have the authority, but you don't have to do it.
So we can issue it, but we don't have to act on it.
That's right. And I think that, to the point, I think there's should be a way that we can clean this up and get more compliance. Because I think Tom's right. I think there could be some liability involved if we're not following the law. Up until today, I felt like, well, I didn't know. I can't say that tomorrow. After having read the law, now I bear some responsibility, and having it be something we've discussed in a selectmen's meeting gives us a level of accountability that wasn't necessarily there yesterday, in my opinion. So I think there's something that can be done, and I think it's probably reasonable, and I think issuing those certificates is something that this law says we're required to do. It doesn't say we're required to seize an unlicensed dog, but I think there's probably some wording somewhere on notices that can go out. I think that was my feeling is that, it's like go right to, put a lien on a property. Well, that's a little drastic, but I mean, is there a way to withhold a car registration? I mean, I would imagine 90% of these people register cars in this town. We may not have the authority to do that, but it might be worth looking into ways to
Creatively collect the money.
cajole people into compliance.
So maybe next meeting have the warrants here for you guys to sign, but not necessarily, we wouldn't necessarily pursue anything.
There's probably dogs on here that are deceased also.
Right.
I don't know what to do about how accurate the list is, and unless you hear from the homeowner or
Whether
the
you're on
dog
it or
owner,
not, right.
you're
Whether you're on it or not,
right.
The list has been, in the past, put out through e-news, so
Okay.
I think we
Yeah.
kind of asked not to have that done at one point, but I
Did we?
think so. I don't know.
Would it be reasonable to ask Jeanette from this point on that anybody that comes in to register a car, would they like to pay their dog license fee while they're here? That's not refusing, that's just saying, while you're here, you want to pay both fees.
Right.
That then puts that person in a refusal position, okay? And now I'm sure they're saying, well, I didn't know, I was busy, this and that. But once you ask them to do it and they refuse to do it, kind of a different question to face. And then she's not going to deny their car, she's just going to say, would
Right.
you like to do all this when you register your car?
Yeah,
I
it's
think the timeliness of the dog registration is important because it is dated there from June 1st to June 20th.
And you're supposed to
Car
register at the
registration can be
beginning of
any
the
other
year,
time of the
right.
year.
You can do a car registration online.
Yeah, you can do it online now.
Can you do the dog license on it?
No.
Would that be a good thing to try to do?
Well, I think there's, if we have the means, that might be
Why not?
a way to go with it. I think there's probably a way to electronically flag things so that we don't put a hold on a car registration, but we know, and that the notice goes out at the same time. I don't know, it just seemed like there probably are some ways. If somebody was to brainstorm with Jeanette, how can we get compliance without having a town office meeting room full of dogs?
Well, let me ask, presumably, I assume this wasn't done for revenue.
No.
This was done for Brady's, for
Right,
getting some
that's right.
consistency, all
Yeah,
that.
it's a
kind of
state
stuff.
law, so it's not, we
Okay,
don't get the
so-
money, we don't get the money.
Right, so it's $650.
All right.
Okay, going through all of this, dragging people through the street. For instance, we'd be better off telling the person, we'll give you the license if you bring in the certificates about the dog. That would be better than going through this enforcement process that says for $650, I mean, it's going to cost a fortune to go through this enforcement process. Now, for $650, or if nothing else, people say, well, I paid $650, I want it free too. Then I think you're talking about looking at some other method to solve the problem.
Do you want to chat with Jeanette and come up with some?
I'll be
Yeah.
glad to chat.
That's a great idea.
Okay.
I'll take that on. I'll talk to Jim.
Yeah. And just, you'd be able to recap the conversation and tell her how.
Hold
Can
on.
I
So
either
that's
Deep
on
thought
hold as
into
far
it.
as
Yeah.
we're concerned.
Yeah.
That's her, so you have to wrestle her for it.
can I have a copy of this?
Yeah.
Sure.
Alrighty.
I was under new business, I was just gonna, fill you in on a conversation that I got a phone call last Friday from Robert Sear from
Yep.
Jesselnook. And he was just explaining his frustration with his taxes.
Mhm.
But I also spoke to Jason today, and it seems that the two of them, Jason has said that he's going to be, he's in the process of revising the tax bill, and so Mr. Sear, I think, would be interested in attending a meeting in the not too distant future, and maybe we can get Jason here as well, and maybe
Sure.
resolve some of the problems,
Great
or
idea.
frustrations that have been between tax and all that. So,
If you read that copy of that letter Julie sent out, there was some pretty harsh language in there, and accusatory type language.
Right.
Felt like, well, let's get them both at a meeting to meet with us, not to have their own dialogue, but so that we could maybe come to an understanding. Because that
Probably
letter
should be
was
non-public
referring,
though.
that letter was
Oh,
referring
okay,
to
well, I can set
past.
something up then,
Yeah, right.
because I told Mr. Sear I'd call him back next week.
Because that letter was referring to earlier documents and decisions and
Right.
meetings and conversations, and I had no documentation of any of the things that were being referred to in the letters.
Right.
That's a good idea. If we could schedule, at their earliest convenience.
Okay. I think the other new business that's in there is Jason gave me a stack of assessing appeals, and I think it's basically, we're gonna have you review it during this next, week, and then at the next meeting, you're going to say how you'd like to.
These are the appeals.
How many?
I think there are 5.
Yeah, looks about half a dozen.
Okay.
So I have to look these over and,
Between now and the next meeting.
between now and the next meeting. And,
They're going to be in the office?
yeah, I'll be in Julie's office.
Okay.
Okay. The only thing I had to add to the new business was, like I said, setting up a work session to, get that job description started at least. Usually, I mean, I'm open to anything. Obviously, I'm pretty free after next week, but I would like to get that started.
I think you have a letter in there, and it's, it should be in the old business about that, committee, and there are 2 people that are interested in being on it, but I don't
Yeah.
know if it's gonna be a committee that is formed, or whether you guys are just deciding.
Whether or not I would think we would form a committee, bring people into the process would be a decision we would make as a board at our work session.
Oh, you have a work session just with the three?
Well, that John's
Usually.
proposing, a work session would be the three of us.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And at that point, I think we'd probably have a lot of discussion.
Yeah, it would be
about
open, too.
ways
It'd be an
to
open
move forward.
meeting.
It's always an open meeting,
Oh, it's,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So that person or persons who wish to be involved are more than welcome to come to the meeting
Oh, okay.
and put their input in there.
Okay,
Love to hear from other people.
okay. So you can let me know when.
Well, we have to
you're-
decide that here, I think.
Well, my question was, what are our meeting dates in July? Is it the 11th and 25th?
No, I think it's the 11th and 18th is what we
It
decided.
is,
Yeah.
okay. Is July 25th too far out? So we'd meet,
Well, it's not too far out because we've already procrastinated a long time on this already, but, it gives us a chance maybe to get some sample job descriptions and maybe pass
I
around.
actually have that on my to-do list for next week.
Okay.
why, so the meetings haven't been posted yet, the July
I believe
selectmen's
they
meetings.
have.
I have seen them.
Have they?
I think that's what it is.
So I was thinking, we should
So that
still
won't be
have
good.
a week between meetings if we met the 11th and 25th, and then the work session could be the 18th. I guess it
That
doesn't-
would work better for me. I think
Yeah.
that would be a better idea.
Yeah, it is the 11th.
Because you don't, if you have back-to-back selectmen's meetings,
It's not gonna be much going on.
right, not as much as if you stagger them. So the discussion was if we could, we've got plenty of time to repost, just have the selectmen's meetings on July 11th and 25th, and then our work session could be Thursday between those two, the 18th. Does that work, Bill, for your schedule?
it just depends on where it is, but yes.
Here?
No, I meant, you're talking about a date in between some dates?
No, the 11th would be our regular scheduled selectmen's meeting.
Yeah,
Well, kind of semi-regular, it's been
Right.
moved. The 18th would be the work session for Andy's job description,
okay.
and the 25th would be our next selectmen's meeting.
As far as I know, I can do that.
Okay.
When do you want the work session? What time of day, or do you know?
Is it at the meeting time?
I would just use the regular meeting time.
Yeah,
Okay, 4:30 on the
that'd be
18th.
good for me.
Are these times all right, 4:30 for everybody, in terms of getting here? I'm fine with it, but,
That's okay.
Yeah,
all right, so we'll do a work session,
yeah.
July 18th.
July 18th. Same bat time, same bat channel. Any other new business? Okay. Old business, job descriptions. We got employee classification. This was the full-time, part-time, temporary, all that stuff. Overtime, payroll. This is basically the personnel folder, not folder, personnel.
That's the revised portion of the
Right.
policy, yeah.
Policy, that's right, personnel policy. Did everybody have a chance to look that over?
I worked on it, so I'm pretty familiar with it.
I
It looks
didn't-
fine to me. You want to take a look at that and see if it meets your,
Yeah,
if you're the personnel person.
person.
It looks fine to me, but,
Well, if he hasn't,
I'll sign it. I don't think there's any, you all know as much about this business as I do. I'm fine.
the
with
big,
signing
the
it.
big one was the change of the paid time off.
Yeah.
That was the big one when they changed it.
I
Most of
had
it's not
some
done.
discussion about it, and I'm good with it. I'll sign off on it. I don't need to go through it.
Even if you read it later and come back and you want.
Right, it's not a problem.
All right, then I'll accept a motion to sign the personnel policy improvements.
so moved.
Second?
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This is the letter that we talked about to the power company.
Oh, just one thing before you move on. So would you like, in one of my emails, I had said we can start slowly transitioning to this by using the, normally you get a sick day per month for the rest of the year, and that would just fall into the regular PTO, and then starting January 1st, it would be in full effect.
Good.
Okay.
Alrighty. These are just letters here. I don't think we need to vote on these, right? Because it's just a letter to the power companies saying they did a nice job, appreciate their help, so.
And the other one is basically, Larry wrote that, for the most part, about plus he's got 3 things for you all that has,
Shirking your responsibilities.
so there's a letter, and then he's got a map, following up on the discussion that he had last week.
Is there one for each of us here?
Yep, one folder for each of you.
There you go.
Did we get a hard copy of that report at the last meeting on Wildcat Falls?
That's what this is.
Yeah, I think this is what.
This is the hard report.
Right, but well, this isn't the report. The report
I don't know
was
that I've seen a report.
Report from whom?
From the gentleman that they hired to go up there and make some recommendations.
I don't
Wasn't
think he's
there?
been there yet.
Oh, well, the DES guy that's gonna make recommendations, that hasn't come through yet. That's still gonna be a while, if that's what you're talking about.
No, it's not. I'm talking about the Wildcat Falls. I'm talking about something different.
Okay.
Are you talking about the falls area?
Yeah, yeah.
That was a plan, I think they did do a plan on it, but I don't think
Right.
there was one that was available to us to preview yet.
Right, and because, well, I'll wait until we're done with one item at a time.
This was
So,
like on the
jump
table.
on the gun.
I thought everybody had a copy.
There's a copy for everyone. Is that from Dave?
Yes.
Yes, a
Okay.
copy for everyone.
Okay.
This one is to the DES, Selectmen's Office and Conservation Committee would like to express support of the Jackson Cross Country Ski Foundation and Eagle Mountain Resort and Golf Course in their efforts to maintain the current course of the Wildcat River consistent with the Wildcat River Management Plan. The Ski Foundation and the golf course are a vital piece of the town of Jackson's tourist economy and as such need to be protected.
And that was from Larry.
So I guess I take a motion to pass this on to the DES.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Right.
Aye.
There you go. That's yours to keep.
This was the plan I was talking. We did get a hard copy.
Yes, that,
Okay.
yeah.
The action
I don't think
plan
I
for
saw
the
that.
falls. And it's just fresh because I met with Jay and toured up there today to get a handle on that and try and marry what they're doing up there currently with the recommendations that were contained within the report. So, because we wanted to kind of take a look at what's in here and what we could implement. Yeah, I mean, no game 7 for you.
No, that was a backward it would have gone in.
So, so Jay was, wondering just what this report meant to him. And, they currently do some maintenance work up there. I didn't hear anything mentioned when we got this report from Larry, and I should probably try and make sure I have a conversation with Larry about this, but I didn't hear anything in here about anybody adjusting their current maintenance efforts.
He was
up there.
kind of saying maintenance free is what he was talking about to me. I mean,
Yeah.
more or less.
Right, but, well, I guess what Jay pointed out and showed me is that there has to be some mowing up there so that the fire truck has access
Okay.
in there and some other things. And so I guess at some point we're going to make a motion to adopt in part or in whole this report. And I think that Larry wants to go forward some point here this season, right? So I think bringing Jay into the picture now and having a conversation as people look around up there and
Sure,
seeing what's
absolutely.
up there might be a good idea. I'm happy to do that between now and the next meeting with Jay and Larry. Of course, Larry didn't write the report, but he's going to be as familiar with it as anybody in town.
Right. Sounds good.
And so I asked about this because I couldn't remember getting one. And I need to bone up on this. I need to study the report so I can be part of the conversation.
Any other new business? I guess we got into old business there. I guess that was old business, yeah. So we signed the job descriptions, we signed the personnel
Well, the job
policy.
descriptions are still on there because there are a few that are still lingering.
Right,
And then the Mirror Lake lamppost, that's on there still because we're.
and that one, we said we were just waiting on the bids for that, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's done, and then we got Huntley's letter to help out with that, so.
Were there 2 letters in there or just one?
Just one from, with
In
the,
the old-
building inspector thing?
Yeah.
Just one.
Okay.
Okay.
But there was another name that was written down below, so there are 2 people.
Oh, Phil.
Phil.
Phil Davies said he would like to be in on it as well, so.
Oh, okay.
But again, it's gonna be a work session, so they're more than welcome to come.
Okay.
They don't really need to be notified, maybe
Put
out
it
of
on
courtesy, give them a
put it
call
on
because they
e-news.
did request.
Do we-
Yeah, put it on
okay,
e-news
okay.
and, you know, and maybe we'll give them a courtesy call because they have had this letter in for a while.
Yeah.
I don't want them to miss it
Okay,
by chance.
okay.
Anything else there for old business?
I have none.
All right, public comments, last round. All right. There is one other item here that came by, a couple other items. One was an FYI from the local government center. I haven't read it yet, but I guess Julie was telling me that we're gonna get some money back.
And I haven't looked into the whole thing either, I just saw that.
And again, they say it may be this amount, but it may be less, depending upon pending lawsuits and other people who are gonna fight this, I guess. But looks like we're gonna get some decent money back, so I guess we'll kind of keep that open until we get the actual dollar figure. But and that's related to our health trust contributions. All right. And lastly, we received a letter from Dave Mason regarding the ZBA. And I just saw this today, so I haven't had time to read it yet. I think we all got a copy here.
I'm ready.
Okay, so take that and be your homework for tonight. Anybody else have any issues?
No.
Take a motion to retire.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Before 6 o'clock.
Can I have a copy of that?
Yep, I'll do that right now for you.
Good.
All right.